Well, I had really wanted to open a popcorn shop when I saw 2 summers ago the crowd of people surrounding a Chicago, very popular popcorn shop. And I thought that's probably going to be a good business, and I thought it'd be a fun business. So I had that idea probably a year and a half before I actually opened the shop. You know, I had no idea where I was going to go to get my cheese. That was the hardest thing for me. I made the caramel from scratch and I knew that was good, but I didn't know how I was going to do a cheese. And really, you've just got to listen to your friends and people around you, because sometimes they know, well, always they know more than you do about things, but you have to listen and put it out there what you want to look for. And a friend of mine gave me the idea where to go, and they had the exact cheese I needed, and it's perfect, and I still use it now. And after I found the cheese that I knew I was going to use, because it's a craft cheese, so everybody's used to it and they love it, then I started out, there are different popcorn kernels. Being from Indiana, we know this. Being from Purdue, you know this. I started out with a really big kernel, and it was a tough one to eat. It left holes in your mouth. In the summer, I was in the farmer's market in Zionsville with a friend of mine, and we had a lot of fun. But I just happened to buy a package of popcorn from another vendor. It was an organic popcorn grown here in Indiana, in Brownsburg. I used it, and that is what I'm still using now today. And I feel like that's part of the secret of how good my popcorn is this organic popcorn that I found. So I was real happy about that. I thought I had such a great thing when I was starting the farmer's market. I made 500 bags the first day. I was thinking, man, I am going to sell 500 bags at $5 a bag. Well, and I even played with the price. I think I started out at $6 a bag, but I didn't sell one single bag. The farmer's market opened at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't sell one single bag until 10 o'clock. And I looked at my friend, who I did the farmer's market with a friend, which I would encourage anybody to do, because then when you don't sell one until 10 o'clock, you got somebody to laugh with. But at 10 o'clock, I sold my first one, and then I sold all that of course, all that I sold that day from 10 to 11. I didn't sell 500 bags, but I sold several. So I knew that I didn't have to make as many bags because I wasn't going to sell very many in the morning. I found out that people don't usually eat popcorn for breakfast. And I found out in a cheap way. I did a lot of my research, and I found out a lot about the popcorn business at the farmer's market, which I think was the smartest thing I did, is start small like that and work out the problems and learn more about it before I go big time. The hardest thing is getting customers in, because with what I sell, it's open to just about everybody, age-wise, old, young, ethnic-wise. Almost everybody eats popcorn. I have a store in a college town in Bloomington, and I was having trouble reaching the students. I got the city people to come in fine, but until I ran an ad in the student paper, I wasn't really getting the students in. So I just had my grand opening, and I had quite a few new students, and I had a good response. So hopefully it will grow from here. That's a challenge, and also a challenge is getting good employees, because you got to be able to trust your people, and you hope that they learn what you're trying to tell them to do, and that they'll do it when you're gone, so that I won't have to be there all the time, so I can grow doing other things. It is. That's a hard thing. I think I'm fortunate, because I think the 2 girls I have are going to be great. I mean, they're definitely hardworking. They show up on time. They're a little bit shy, so they're not really people, but they do everything else. So, you kind of got to balance what's important to you when you hire people. Do you want reliability? People you can trust with your money? People who are going to do what you want them to do exactly as you want them to do? Or do you want somebody that's going to be real charismatic and careless about how to make your popcorn? I'd rather have somebody that's going to make my popcorn right. Well, my mom had her own beauty salon. My dad owned a beauty supply. right after college, I opened a tanning salon. I mean, I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. I love it. It's risky, but it's also independence. For me, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Oh, the most rewarding part of it is I can go down to the IU Purdue game today because I decide when I work, I decide how hard I work, and I decide that Sunday I want to go to an IU Purdue game. So I did all my work yesterday, you know, and I like it because I am in control of my free time, and I'm also in control of how hard I want to work. So, and there's a direct, in what I'm doing, there's a direct response to how hard I work, what the reward is. And I feel like the sky's the limit when you own your own business. And there's a big appeal to me in that. I hope to become more involved. One thing I do is when my popcorn expires, well, the freshness date expires, it's still good. I would eat it. You would think it's good yourself. But I don't want to sell it when it reaches that date.
Yeah, you can't have something out in the store that's past the date.
Right. But it is still good to eat, and it is still healthy. So what I've done is I have contacted the homeless shelters. There are a couple of different places in Bloomington that provide food for after school and whatnot. I take it to them, and then they, that day, give it to the kids or give it to the families. And it is still good, but it's, you know, I can't sell it, but I can give it to the community. So in that way, I do that. But I'm not involved in any other community activities yet because the store's only been open, you know, a couple of months. But I hope to do some things in the community. You know, I just wanted to make an excellent popcorn, and I felt like it would take me the places, it would grow. I didn't know where or how it was going to grow, but I've had big expectations. But my expectations have exceeded, well, actually what's happening is exceeding my expectations, if that makes sense. Okay. I had the farmer's market just less than a year ago. That was the first time I introduced it. As of last week, my popcorn is in West Baden in the gift shop. I talked to Indiana University, and chances are it's going to be in their concessions for the fall sports. Now, if you would have told me a year ago that I would have my popcorn at IU in the ball games, I wouldn't have believed you. But this is how it's taking off for me. So by having my product and perfecting it, and I mean I tested it on the teachers at the elementary schools, I tested it on neighbors, I tested it on everybody before I even sold one bag of it. But by having it as good as I can possibly make it, it's taking me places I didn't expect. It is a fun business, but it is hard work. It's very physical. Just because you're bagging popcorn, you're moving machines, and the machines are very big. So as fun as it seems, and it is fun, it's a happy atmosphere because people are happy when they come in, it's a lot of work. And my employees that work for me go home at night and they're tired. You know, but the day goes quickly because you're busy.